Sunday, Motor City Raceway from live in our Birmingham office. See the banner? Okay, fine. You can't see the banner. Take my word for it. It's Comics, Beer, and Sci-Fi. This is Brad with Mark and Q and Richie and Denver on the boards.
Howdy, how.
It is podcast number 23. We're drinking Moscow Mules. And we're here to tell you what we think about every damn thing there is.
Cheers.
Indeed.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Okay, and remember, no slamming of the table.
There will be no slamming.
And if you do slam the table and I give you a little cue, don't go,
Yep, there will be no table slamming.
All right, excellent. All right, let's
I can still laugh at this bullshit, can't I?
Well, for those of you that aren't seeing the video component, Mark is, as usual, mugging for the camera.
Well, that's what happens when you put a cameraman on the panel.
Be thankful you're not seeing it if you're not watching the YouTube video.
Right, because we have to put up with this bullshit all the time, and I'm just, frankly, really,
And I almost didn't record the video portion since we weren't going to have any of our lovely ladies join us.
Oh, yeah.
Well, who cares about them?
But
I'm here.
I figured for all the...
We got plenty of tits right here.
Hey, between me and Mark, that's at least enough tits to go around.
That's some TNA right there.
Next time wear a push-up bra, guys. Come on.
Please.
That's some class.
Hey, mines don't sag.
Speaking
Mark's
of Rocky
the old
Horror
one.
Picture Show.
Yeah, Brad's Q's nice and firm.
That's goddamn right.
We're lactating. I want to get some of that chocolate milk.
I hope it's spoiled.
I was going to say something, but after that, that's...
I hope it's spoiled when
Yeah,
you
I'm
come
ready
get
for
it.
another drink, and I haven't finished my first one.
And after last week, I doubt we'll have any listeners or viewers this week.
Right?
Thanks to...
This is Comics Beer and
You can rule out the church crowd, huh?
Yeah. When I did put a warning when I was posting it, I
I
was
said,
like,
our raunchiest episode. I was a little offended, Denver.
Oh,
I
it
thought
was-
we kept it really PG-13.
That would draw people in, actually.
Yeah,
well, hey, if it works for some, that's great.
Hey, let's just put it like this. It's like 1980 raunchy. So, we're still PG.
So
We're in
it's
that area.
Porky's era.
Yeah, we're in that era,
All right, so let's get to the subject matter at hand.
Indeed.
This was a big week for comic books.
big week.
We had the relaunch of Captain America. It's actually called Steve Rogers Captain America because apparently the Sam Wilson / Falcon version of Captain America is still ongoing.
Right,
So
right.
there's going to be two Captain Americas in the Marvel comic.
Well, should we still call him
universe.
Captain America?
Well, he is Captain Hydra. What are we going to call him?
How about
Dick-faced McGurk for screwing the world
fucking-
and telling a lie the whole
fucking-
last 70 years.
Benedict Rogers?
For those of us, or for those people out there that have not heard the news, Brad, you want to tell us what happened in this first issue of Captain America? The big reveal at the end of the issue. Now this is heavy spoilers, folks. So if you haven't read it,
Heavy
you want
fucking
to.
spoilers it is.
Yeah, so don't
Big time spoiler.
I thought he was my
Spoiler
hero.
alert.
tune out for a second if you don't
He
want to.
turned out to be Kaiser
Dr. Valium.
Soze.
And, for the most part, it almost does. He basically, the last page has him saying "Hail Hydra," which basically means everything we, in theory, of course, this universe is not the same universe Cap started in, so anything could have happened. There's been a lot of speculation that it could be any of a number of things.
Well, let's real quickly just give a broad overview of that first issue. Essentially, there's two stories going on. There's Captain America, Steve Rogers as a young boy, and it's the story of his mother and how she was befriended by a Hydra agent that kind of unknowingly sucked them in and recruited them into Hydra. And so now that's cutting back and forth between the contemporary story of Captain America, who has been re-given his superpowers. I was not familiar with the issues that led up to that, but apparently it was old Steve Rogers,
Right,
powerless,
but I've
old,
never
wrinkly.
heard of the sentient cosmic cube named Kobik.
Yes, that was the MacGuffin, if you will, of the issue that kind of restored his power. So here's my thinking, that this so-called sentient cosmic cube actually implanted these memories of him as a Hydra agent, and that he's not really a Hydra agent.
Right, that's
but they're just kind of tricking him into thinking he is.
Some people who have written about the episode have speculated that that's exactly what it was, is that he's kind of being tricked because he wanted to be Captain America back so much that he let his guard down and they implanted memories and thoughts in his head, thereby sort of brainwashing him, so to speak.
Which makes sense because, you know, everything that he's done up to this point is against Hydra and is working against him. So there's no way they could re-engineer that whole storyline to work.
Right. There's no way that he could have been a sleeper agent all this time. So something new must have happened, and the only thing new is this Kobik deal.
Yeah, and I would just want to say to all the fans that are in a uproar, get a life. Paraphrasing William Shatner from Saturday Night Live.
That was harsh.
But, well, because think about it. I've never read a Captain America comic book. I mean, let me rephrase it. I've never gone to a store and bought a new day release of a Captain America comic book. But that got me
intrigued.
Yeah. And had there not been that cliffhanger at the end, I probably
still wouldn't have got a Captain America.
I wouldn't have gone back, but now I want to see how they're going to resolve the story, so I will get number 2. So,
well, I honestly think that this was an issue. Maybe to me, I think they did it just to see what the response
is this a Chris Stevens cash grab?
What I'm saying? There might be.
Is that where you're going?
Yeah, because I just feel like that they did it, and they were going to say, okay, if the fans respond negatively, then at the end of the story, we'll make them Captain America again.
I think they plan those comic books out fairly far in advance.
Yeah.
That's not to say that they can't rejigger them a little bit.
But you get what I'm saying? Maybe they had 2 endings where if nobody cared, okay, we leave them a Hydra agent. But if people started to care and get mad, then we'll make them Captain America.
Well, like they did with the Jason Todd death issue?
Yeah, or like how they did Civil War in the comic books. They did a what if. Marvel always does a what if. Yeah. Comic books, they always do a what if this story didn't come out the way that it did. So like in the Civil War, what if the Civil War never ended? And the country got split in 2 and blah, blah, blah. But whatever the end result's going to be with this, they're always going to do a what if. And to me, the what ifs are always better than the end of the story. Because what if Captain America really is a Hydra agent? And what if Hydra had this master plan that will take 40 years of losses just for this one gigantic victory that we know is going to help us take over the world?
That would be a rather demoralizing result if they've set Captain America up to be this great hero. And then, okay, now let's pull the rug out from underneath him.
He's Captain fucking America. There's going to be no bigger blow to America than seeing Captain America go down.
But see, this is my point about why I think it's a great issue, because it's got everybody talking about it. It's got people in an uproar.
Oh, yeah.
To me, there's nothing worse than somebody just reading a comic book or seeing a movie or anything and just being like, nah. You know, if it elicits a strong reaction, positive or negative, to me, that's a pretty good thing.
It is un-American.
Well,
it's coming out on Memorial Day weekend.
Well, that's the whole point.
It's
and it turns out he's un-American.
Well, first of all, we want to say thank you for all of those who served.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Captain America's a jackass, and you should go kill ISIS.
What can Captain America do?
Mark?
He can kiss my ass.
There we go.
You forgot your own tagline.
No, I didn't forget my tagline. It's Mark's job to say my tagline.
Okay.
He fucking forgot his lightning bolt on the front of his shirt.
That's just because I haven't spoke the name of the wizard yet.
All right, there's one other Captain America issue, not comic book issue, but Twitter issue. Everyone is in an uproar. Well, I shouldn't say everyone's in an uproar. There are a certain group of people that are in an uproar because there is a small but vocal group that started the hashtag Give Captain America a Boyfriend based
Jesus.
based
Can we
on
skip
Civil
this?
War.
What?
Can we skip this?
Well, because the way him and Bucky talked to each other was
it's
kind of
like Frodo and Sam in Lord of the
subversive.
Rings.
Yeah, it's really subversive, kind of like.
You just sit there and be like, when the camera's off.
Remember when we used to do this and that? You know, it's all
I wouldn't say
metaphors.
it's
Haven't
I
you
would say
ever
it's
had
subversive.
haven't you ever had a friend
Subjective.
a friend since kindergarten
Do you remember when we
that you
did this?
the one person you have more history with than anybody else, and you can recall with detail, and they remember, or they. I have a friend of mine from high school. He reminded me of something that we were out doing something, getting out in trouble, and remind.
Okay, listen, to make it
Suffice it to say, there is nothing wrong with the way their friendship is in that movie.
right, it's a
No,
bromance.
it's a bromance. We get it.
And
we
there's
get
nothing, and it's not as if it's something that there doesn't have to be something wrong with it.
No, we're
there's
not-
nothing
no,
fucking wrong with
no,
it.
we're
Nothing
not
wrong with
saying
it.
it
They fell
is.
in love with each other, Brokeback style. But I mean, but it is what it is.
You are such a motherfucking dog humper. You
Wait.
get the fuck away
So
from
wait.
me.
Brokeback Marvel.
I was going to say Brokeback Captain after Bucky got through with
It could
them.
make sense because
Oh,
I
man.
mean, broke buck, Captain.
There we go. Broke buck.
I can't top that.
Well, my feeling is the way you read the Marvel, the new movie, Civil War,
Right.
it could be read that there is a
thing going
romantic
on.
relationship.
They got a
Because let me ask you
thing.
this. Has Captain America had sex yet?
What do you mean?
In the Marvel
In the world?
cinematic universe.
He kissed that chick.
Well, it's not sex.
that we've witnessed.
Do we
No,
have to teach
I
you the
don't
birds and
know.
the bees?
Off screen or
I don't
on screen?
know.
Kissing
Obviously-
isn't sex.
Well, he said they were in that hotel room,
I think he was getting
right?
laid.
I thought he had sex with Carter's niece.
Yeah, that's
Sharon?
what I said.
Yeah.
Well, they the first time they kissed was in the movie,
That
right?
was the first time. Oh, yeah, that was the first time.
And he didn't do it with Peggy because they were too busy looking for Hydra. in
You
World
think
War II.
Steve Rogers is a fucking virgin?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Fuck yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons why people are reading into this Give Captain America a Boyfriend.
Why does everybody have to have sex on camera for there to be proof that they've fucking had sex?
There's no applied sex either.
Right. It's not implied.
Yeah.
But man, Captain America, he's a Boy
Why
Scout.
would there have
He's
to
not
be
gonna-
implied? He's a fucking Boy Scout.
It's not going to
virgin.
be implied.
Boy Scouts are usually virgins.
I have a friend who's a Boy Scout who's an Eagle Scout, and he would beg to differ with you.
Well, it really
That's
brings
just
up
one.
the question of whether or not
Motherfucker.
there should be any non-straight.
Have we seen? Wait a
Characters.
minute. Have we seen Tony Stark have sex?
Well,
Yes,
It was
we have.
implied he
Yeah,
screwed
no.
that journalist.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you figure he must have did
Yep.
Pepper too.
Yeah.
Right in the pot.
In Pepper's pots? Yeah, okay. Has Thor had sex? Do we know
Don't
that?
piss in the pot.
How about the Hulk?
Lady Sif.
Has the Hulk had sex?
I think
yeah.
Thor would have broke
Right.
Jane.
Yeah,
She's so
Lady
nice.
Sif.
and you don't
Lady
and,
Sif.
and you don't think in the middle of the act at the peak of coitus that Bill Bixby would turn into what's his name? He interviewed him?
Hulk?
Lou Ferrigno, right in the middle. That's got to rip somebody's shit open.
And they probably killed him off.
Yeah, right, exactly. Sure,
was the
everybody's a
courtship
fucking
of
virgin.
Eddie's
The
father,
Marvel
so-
Virgin Squad. Yeah.
Well, no. The question is,
Well, does Captain America need a boyfriend?
We assume that there's some straight sex going on in the Marvel universe. Is there any gay sex or transgendered sex?
Oh.
And
Well, maybe.
Oh no! I'm sure Mystique has had
Now
some
that I
really
can see.
interesting
Well,
sex
yeah.
as
you
a
know,
man and a
Mystique-
woman.
Yes.
well, the X
Does that count?
the
Wasn't
X-Men
Nightcrawler
universe
is supposed to be her son in the
Yeah,
comics?
Nightcrawler is her son.
And she did Azrael,
Yeah, but that's
right?
not the Marvel Cinematic Universe because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
X-Men,
Comic
those
book.
are some kinky.
Yeah.
What about the comic
MFers.
book?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
I
in the
think that's-
comic books,
Yeah.
Mystique and Nightcrawler.
Or Azrael, didn't she? Her and Azrael
Azrael, yeah.
had Nightcrawler. That's why
Nightcrawler.
he could do the
Okay, all right.
Well,
transportation.
Well, let's put
Wait,
our
but you said the
final
Marvel
thoughts on.
Okay.
Okay,
Do we
final
need
thoughts
gay characters in the Marvel Cinematic
Okay,
Universe?
let's not ask that question.
I don't
'cause
really
we're gonna
wanna-
lose a lot of followers if we answer this the wrong way.
Without offending everybody, fuck y'all right now before I answer. I don't need to see it. Don't ask, don't tell.
I'm
That's a good policy,
Well,
and
We're
I'm
not going
I'm
to see
with
any
that.
sex in the Marvel
Are
Cinematic
you
Universe.
saying that there need to be more gay characters?
No, I'm just asking.
I mean, that's what you're asking.
you know, because we're talking about diversity of female characters getting their own movies.
That's fine.
Of different
so are
ethnicities
you
getting
saying,
their own characters.
do we want to
in
see
movies?
Captain Rainbow
Are you
coming
brave?
to a theater near you?
Or is Captain Marvel? They're giving her a movie. Is she a lesbian? Maybe. I mean,
As long as it's made by Fox and Mystique said it, I'm okay with that.
Has wait a minute? Has not? I know this isn't Marvel, but before somebody yells at me, but has Wonder Woman had sex yet?
Yeah,
I don't know.
she fucks
Because
Superman.
she's only been off the island for a short.
No, I'm assuming she has.
That red, white,
Superman.
and blue wearing bitch.
He's probably a virgin too.
Well, no, because she's
Because there's
been.
no men allowed on that
she-
island. How do they get
no,
birth?
No. She's been with Superman. She's been with Batman before. I'm thinking she's had sex with at least one of them.
In the movies, though, how about in the movies? We don't
hasn't
know
had a
enough.
movie.
I bet you Flash has raped a few of those people and they don't even know it.
I feel violated.
What happened?
Talk about a quickie.
What the hell did I have for dinner? Because my ass is killing me.
I used the Speed Force, man. The Speed Force.
All right. There was a couple other comic books. The other big one is DC Universe Rebirth.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I thought it was really well done. And I wish every comic book was like this one because it's double the size. There's no advertisements.
Beautiful.
And the art is
Beautiful.
just really
great. It is
top
very
notch.
good.
So if every comic book was like this, I think people would be buying comic books in droves. Now
And
they
it's the
probably
right
couldn't
price,
afford to
too.
do that. Yeah, only $2.99.
I haven't seen that price on a comic book in a while.
Well, that's the regular price.
For Rebirth.
Yeah.
All Rebirth
Yeah.
comic books are $2.99.
Okay.
But if you want the special edition version with all the deleted scenes and documentaries, it's going to cost a little more.
About $4.99, yeah.
It's like DVDs.
The 2-book special edition.
So I was a little confused when they first announced Rebirth because I was not a regular reader of the New 52.
Right.
The only thing that I've read was Batman. They took all the the Night of the Owls and Court of the Owls.
Court of the Owls, yeah. That was
I read those.
Yeah, that was good.
That was in graphic novel form, and that was really good. But that was really the only New 52 that I had read.
Right.
So according to this, if I understand it correctly, Wally West was sucked into the Speed Force
Right.
by the Flashpoint Paradox.
Right, when the events of that happened.
Yep. And
Right.
so this comic book is positing that all the New 52 is like this offshoot spin-off universe that was
That
affected by the Flashpoint Paradox.
Right.
And Wally West spends this whole first issue trying to get back into the world. So he visits Bruce Wayne, he visits Linda Park, he visits a couple other people. And as he's doing this, he sees that
nothing is the same.
Right. So,
Right.
as if someone who had never read the New 52 came in,
Right.
they would
It's
almost
basically, they're caught up. Pretty
Yeah.
much caught
Yep.
up.
And so, at the end, spoiler alert, he meets up with Barry Allen,
Right.
who is the only one that's able to pull him out of the Speed Force and bring him back into. Excuse you. Brad's coughing up a lung over there.
It's on the floor.
Yeah, step on him, quick.
I'll
Put him out
clean
of
it
his
up. I'll
misery.
clean it up before we leave, since that's part of our job
Smell
now.
that bagel you had this morning.
It was an everything bagel.
Now, Q.
Yes.
I know there was one thing in particular that got you really excited about this.
Yes.
Tell us, please.
The one thing that got me super excited is that the Watchmen,
Yep,
probably considered the greatest graphic novel of all time,
indeed.
is finally in the DC continuity. So,
Best page of the book.
best page of the book. So they're going with it as that it might be Dr. Manhattan created this universe.
Right, because there is a big question mark at the end of the issue. Wally West knows that someone has messed with the timeline. He doesn't know who, he doesn't know what, and then that's when we see the Watchmen logo.
The Watchmen logo. And then another rumor that's going around is that these two here is Night Owl #2, and that's Silk Spectre 2.
Okay, so Q's pointing at, for those of you not watching the podcast, Q's pointing at a couple of new characters
in the DC, if you know.
And they look like Batman-esque heroes.
Right, they're supposed to be like, Batman's inspired them, blah, blah, blah. Yep. But with them being, a lot of people think with them being the quote-unquote only two true heroes in the Watchmen universe, that they would make sense for them to help Batman fight crime.
Bring back Rorschach.
And that's another thing everybody wants, is them to bring back Rorschach. But it's very interesting to see if they're going to do that, how are they going to do that. Dr. Manhattan killed him. He vaporized them.
So let me ask you, Watchmen is owned by DC, but it was always in its own universe.
Right. It was 12 issues only ever. It was individually and then rerun again. I think 3 years later as a graphic novel,
and then it was
a movie,
and that kind of existed in its own.
That was its own. Because
but even within the context of the graphic novel, it was in its own kind of offshoot universe.
It would have been on another Infinite Earth.
Because didn't Nixon stay on as president? Was became like the king of America,
20 years in a row or something like that.
Okay,
and it was funny because in that universe we win Vietnam. Because he sends the comedian over there, he sends Dr. Manhattan over there, he sends Silk Spectre over there. He sends all of them over there to kick some ass, and we win Vietnam. So that's how Nixon stays the president. But
now let me ask you: they just did a whole bunch of Watchmen sequels, correct?
Yes.
And I'm assuming those books are going to tie into the Rebirth. I would assume
so. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to.
But there's no. Because in the back of this first issue, there's a listing of all the Rebirth titles.
Right, that's coming.
There are no Watchmen, at least on the surface. There's no Watchmen related.
It shouldn't. They shouldn't release a new Watchmen series until the full culmination of the storyline.
But see, now here's an interesting note. If you look at this watch in the back of the book. This is Dr. Manhattan's watch from when he, when
he was being deatomized?
Deatomized. This is his watch. This is Dr. Manhattan's watch.
And that's
because they say his father. And in the beginning of the book,
right? That's the framing device of the story.
And in the beginning of the book, they say, the day I graduated, my uncle gave me this watch. It belonged to his father, his grandfather before him. This is Dr. Manhattan's watch.
And he hid it up his ass.
It came off during a fisting session, I believe. But yes.
While he was chasing after Pulp Fiction.
Yes, he was chasing after
Does
a
that
hamster.
watch smell like apples?
Yes, that watch smells like apples. Marc's apples, to be exact.
Strangest lubricant ever. Applesauce. Here, sit on this. I need some help later.
Okay, now we got one more, what I thought was kind of a fun, goofy, new comic book release.
Yeah.
It's Scooby Apocalypse #1. And it is basically a total reworking of Scooby-Doo. The reason I picked it up was because I thought the artwork and the character design looked great. But it's actually a pretty good read. It's a cyberpunk version of Scooby-Doo.
Cool.
Where Fred and Daphne have a kind of a reality TV show. Where they go around investigating different mysteries.
Okay.
Velma is a scientist,
of course,
who's working with an organization trying to save the world.
All right.
And Scooby is one of the, I guess you would call her, lab experiments at Velma's
gone right.
Failed lab experiment.
Failed
lab experiment.
But see, to me that makes sense because why the hell does Scooby talk and walk around and
but that's always been the question.
It's also like an origin story for Shaggy and Scoob of how they got together.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have to explain a talking dog back in the day. The dog talks.
Right.
So
everybody was stoned and they understood it anyway.
Exactly. Everybody was on acid,
like
listening to
the Green Arrow.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, Shaggy is kind of a hipster
Oliver Queen.
loser who kind of walks
Shaggy,
the dog.
Hey, I got a question.
Fred
is Shaggy still a pussy in this?
Bro,
No,
you're
not
Oliver
really.
Queen.
He's just stupid.
Oliver
He's
Queen
still stupid,
takes
but he's
over
not a
the
pussy,
brain
right?
of
And
Shaggy.
Daphne's one badass chick in there.
Well, remember
Yeah.
in the
Jinkies.
what was that?
Zoinks.
And Fred's
It
a
was
douche.
some new Scooby cartoon. Daphne was like a secret agent or some stupid shit like that.
Basically,
I didn't see
it's-
that. But yeah, Rich,
don't know, I
you
don't
read
watch
the
it.
whole issue. I haven't actually finished it. What did you think? What was the?
Oh, it's got everything. It'll pull your heartstrings, and then at the end, there's this epic fight with Scoob.
Okay, if Scooby Doo pulls your fucking heartstrings.
This is Scooby Apocalypse, not Scooby Doo.
Scooby, I love you.
That relationship came full circle in this, and you totally understand their bromance.
Okay, well, you know what? Get the fucking
Or
apples.
animals, whatever you call animal mance. That's not sexual.
No bestiality.
Yeah, bestiality, man.
Bestiality. I guess that's better than yeastiality.
It's a little bestiality.
Because then you'll need a shot or something.
Or curstiality.
No, that's bestiality.
Full circle. We're coming.
Full circle, coming back full circle, guys.
Jeez.
All right. Okay. So now, non-comic book related news, and this is
Awesome.
probably my favorite. To me, the biggest news item of the week, probably to no one else. But it was announced that Blumhouse, I always kind of want to call it Blumhouse, Blumhouse is producing the new Halloween movie, and John Carpenter is coming back to produce
Oh, nice.
and potentially score the movie.
Nice.
So I love the first Halloween movie. To me, is one of my all-time favorite movies. Now, all the other sequels after that, I was not a big fan of. I didn't mind the Rob Zombie movies, but I didn't think they held a candle to the original, of course. So I'm excited for John Carpenter to come back, see what he can.
I'm sorry.
Revive the franchise.
We talked about this a few weeks ago, and I just think the slasher movie is dead, man.
Right, but you never. What was the scariest part of Halloween, the first one, was you never saw it coming. The music scared the shit out of you. It was all anticipation.
Right.
There was very little. There was a lot of running and screaming and carrying on.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton of gore.
No, there wasn't.
That's,
But
that's what I'm saying. That's the whole point of the slasher. You walking down the hallway. You turn around. There's nothing there. You turn around. You go back down the hallway a little bit more. You turn around. Boom. There's nothing there. You go back down the hallway a little bit more. Turn around. Boom. There he is. That anticipation is not there anymore because it's coming. You know what I'm saying?
That movie was made of its time.
Well, all of those slasher movies, like Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, all those slasher movies.
But let's not
were-
forget that Blumhouse right now is the #1 horror filmmaking studio in the world. They're doing one. They do.
They're gonna have to put a new spin on this. I think. They're gonna
Well,
have to
yeah,
put-
and I think
have
that's
to.
why they're not having Carpenter direct. Because
Thankfully.
his last couple of directing efforts have not been up to snuff.
I swear, whenever I see one of his latest movies, I hear coughing in the background.
I'm sorry. I should have taken a pill.
But I think by bringing Carpenter in, he said this, he's going to try to return it to more of an old school traditional slasher film. Blumhouse can mix it with because they're doing everything right. They got The Purge, they got the Conjuring movies.
But the Purge isn't scary. It's gory.
No, but they know how to tap into
Is the
what.
Conjuring part of Blumhouse?
I'm pretty sure, maybe not.
I'm
Maybe
not really sure about that.
Yeah,
But,
the
uh,
Purge is not scary.
Yeah, but the point is that
Verge is turned into
Blumhouse.
more of a thriller action movie.
Yeah, but those movies, what they really do is they kind of tap into the zeitgeist of what people are afraid of and what they're feeling. And so I think you take that with the classic elements of John Carpenter, and you could probably make a pretty sweet movie.
I'm
So-
hoping that whatever they make is great. I don't
I
want
want-
anything to be bad.
Well, I don't want it to be bad,
But I'm just not that optimistic.
Me
to be
neither.
honest.
I can't.
If
Whenever I see another slasher movie coming out, I just say.
But I
this
hope
isn't
I'm
the
wrong.
80s. This isn't the 80s
Yeah.
or the 90s.
Rich?
It's not gonna work.
If they put this guy Mark Myers in it, it'll be scary right away.
Well, there is a guy named Mike Myers.
Very
close. I'll be the brother, the twin. Look out, it's Mike and Mark Myers.
Yeah, look like Mark
So you date him and then he kills him.
And then we have a homosexual relationship.
You have a bromance with your brother?
Having a bromance.
And there's gonna be
A threesome with Jason Voorhees.
So wait, let me get this straight. We've covered bestiality. We've covered bromance.
Incest
Now we've covered
now.
incest. Damn, comics, beer, and sexual.
Perversion, yeah.
New Line Cinemas.
New Line, so it's not.
Conjuring is New Line Cinemas.
But Blumhouse didn't produce it. Jason Blum, no. I didn't think so. No.
So, well, okay.
Okay, so thanks for pissing on my dreams. Thank you.
You're welcome. Wait. Let me shake. All right, we're good to go.
Q, now I know how you feel with all the Batman vs. Superman stuff.
I'm just a realist. I'm sorry.
See?
Those movies, as stupid as they are, like Halloween and all that,
But they were great.
have saved my life because I learn when I'm walking down the street and I start hearing the music, go a different way.
Richie.
Well, how many times do you walk down the street and start hearing that music?
Hey, Richie.
Yeah, if you're hearing that music when you're walking down the street,
It's all in your head.
Hey, Richie. You've just known.
You don't walk around with a
Hey,
soundtrack?
Michael Myers.
Hey, you've just
No.
known something that we've known a long time. Always run away from the violence.
I hear music coming that way, I go the other
Go
way.
the other way. There you go. And when someone else is running, don't ask questions. Just take off running.
I learned to be the fastest and not black. Black guy always gets it first.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Which is
Not as of late. They've been
no,
trying to
they've been
flip
trying
that
to
whole
flip
thing
it
around.
around. You know, not
Like
not the dumb people get
LL Cool J didn't die in that deep,
H2O.
Oh, yeah.
And Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah,
Oh, that
we're
shark
making
movie.
it. We're
That
making
shark
it.
movie, Deep
Deep
Blue
Coming-
Sea.
Yeah,
Blue
okay,
Sea.
yeah.
Even though
Times
Sam
are changing.
Jackson died. I didn't
They're trying to
understand that.
flip that
'Cause
whole
I'm like,
thing- the
LL
whole-
Cool J survived, but Sam Jackson died. LL Cool J survived, and I was like, they must have not had enough money for Sam Jackson to be in the whole movie. That makes sense.
Yeah,
now.
here's what you can afford.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
out.
they could
It's
afford.
either-
Come out of
It's a shock.
here.
They
It's
didn't
either-
expect to kill him, and that's what they were
It's
going
either
for.
that or
Shot.
Sam Jackson had another 30 movies he had to go make.
Yeah, that's true. That's that too. They were sitting there. They were sitting on the clock like, we're 30 seconds over. We don't have the money. We're 30 seconds. Get the shirt. Cue the shirt.
Tarantino's on the phone. He's got to get on the set of Jackie Brown.
Just for the sake of argument, since you lost me somewhere along.
Sam Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
This book waits until the very last page to give you the story. The
Yes.
actual reality. This is awesome. You're right.
Yes.
This
Well, it's a setup. It's a setup for.
It's a long
It
setup.
is, but
yeah.
but I'm very pleased. I got a warm fuzzy going because of the last.
I told
page.
you it was good.
Scoot down. I don't like his warm fuzzies.
Not for you, cheesecake. You can relax.
Are you sure the warm fuzzies from
Stop
that last
looking at my
page?
junk.
Or is it? Or is it because your glass is almost empty?
Emphasis
Yeah,
on
sure,
young.
that's
Or
true.
it could be because I hit the mule harder than everybody else.
Yeah.
You really have.
And apparently the mule is hitting back.
The mule always hits back. Unfortunately, I can't drink all of mine. You know.
Okay,
You guys have a safe
We
way
got a
home.
couple other movie items. The Little Prince was
Yeah.
supposed to have been released several weeks ago.
Those bastards.
And at the very last second, I believe it was Paramount, canceled the release. Now, it went out everywhere else in the world except for the United States.
Fuck them.
What did
Because
we
they're
do wrong?
assholes,
They
man.
still have not revealed what the holdup is, but good news, Netflix picked it up, and we did talk about that
Right.
a few weeks ago.
A long time ago.
They finally released the date. It'll be available on Netflix August 5th.
Wow.
And just to entice people, this has got a cast that includes voice cast, that
Yeah.
includes Jeff Bridges, Rachel McAdams, Paul Rudd, James Franco, Paul Giamatti, Ricky Gervais, and
caught
more and
me
more
at-
and more and more.
Right, but if you know
Bridges and
anything
Paul
about the
Giamatti.
story,
Wow.
if you know anything about the story, after seeing the trailer, I've been chomping at the bit waiting for this thing. I like seeing movies like this on a big screen, even if it's a limited release, even if it comes out. You need to see it the way it was intended to be shown.
Right.
Gigantic.
Netflix is going to release it simultaneously in select theaters. So
Oh, okay.
most likely it's going to be a very, very limited release.
All right.
Probably just a handful of major cities.
So buy your plane
Sound-
ticket to
sounds
LA
like
or
a-
New York.
All right.
I'm about to say because
or Chicago. You could probably get Chicago.
I will just
actually.
take a road trip to Chicago.
There you go.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it'll fall in with the Boston Comic Con. We'll catch it out there.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
man,
August
baby.
5th. When's the Boston
Yeah.
Comic Con?
I don't
August-
remember.
Middle
Something
of
in the
August.
teens.
Oh, okay.
Something in the teens.
So it'll be out.
August in the teens.
Okay.
Yes. Spoiler alert. We're gonna be in Boston.
Yeehaw.
And Miami.
And
And Miami.
SuperCon.
We're gonna
Excuse
be
me,
in
it's
Miami.
pronounced
Hey,
Baston.
I'm wearing my Speedo, so you guys should really come see me.
And none of us will be there for that, so.
It's gonna be a black Speedo, so he's gonna look nude.
Well, that's a relief. I feel better already.
Dr. Q Hatton, we have the
we
footage.
got the footage, man.
Without the huge penis.
First of all, I'm black, so you know what's coming.
Well, he may have a huge penis, but we won't be able to see it.
Lift that gut up.
Some of them cosplayers there, I won't have to lift a lot of things up.
No, man.
Oh, and Brad, remind us, we also are going to be out at the Cranbrook Institute of Science on June
16th. It's a Thursday. Starts at 7. It's got not one but 2 bars serving booze, serving food. We're going to be there shooting a live episode. There's going to be bats, live bats. I'm telling you, bats. Big frickin' 5-foot wingspan fucking bats.
And we're gonna
it's
have
going to be
some-
great.
We're going to have some cosplay people on the
There's
show.
going to be a cosplay contest.
Yep.
That's right.
So we're going to do some interviews.
So, in other words,
Fat man.
it's fat bat jackass.
and
yeah, we just got sued by Kevin
man.
Smith. Thanks.
Thanks a
Darn
lot.
it. Dude,
Good job.
the fuck?
He couldn't hold it.
I'm pals with him. He's not suing us.
That's all right. He couldn't.
Yeah, it doesn't count if you suck him off.
he
You
couldn't-
got to get it in writing.
He couldn't buckle my utility belt.
Damn.
All right, let's talk about some trailers real quick here. We've got there was a new Finding Dory trailer.
Yes, that
which
was exciting.
Looks absolutely incredible.
Can I tell you something funny about that Finding Dory trailer?
You have 10 seconds.
They found Dory.
It was the first one I found of it was in Russian, and it is hysterical in Russian because they're like,
So it's dubbed in
It
Russian.
is,
Okay.
it is, and it is hysterical because I know just enough Russian to get in trouble, but I know for sure 2 words I always know: please and thank you, and there's a lot of that. But it was enjoyable in its second language, and then I got it in English, and it was just as good.
Well,
So-
the original Finding Nemo visually was just incredible. At the
Yeah.
time,
Yes.
it was so groundbreaking.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that
It wasn't
this one is-
groundbreaking.
that
It was
octopus-
water split.
Yes.
That octopus steals every scene
Yeah.
he's in.
in the little not stroller, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's got the
Oh my God.
pacifier.
And
Yeah,
the coffee cup.
Yeah.
I mean, the coffee urn.
pot, yeah,
that was
that was good.
hysterical.
Okay, so we also have coming out on August August 19th is The Space Between Us.
Yep.
And that is about the first person born on Mars,
Right.
who comes to Earth and of course falls in love with a beautiful young girl.
But didn't he fell in love with her while he was on Mars? They were like pen pals or video pals or
that
something.
sounds
He
like-
knew her.
That sounds
okay.
like
That
Mark's
was part
story
of- that
or
was-
something. He
I
stalked
see.
the
That's
first
why
girl.
he
He'd
wouldn't
see it on
stay. He wanted to come because he wanted to meet her.
I see.
And I think, and they made an issue of the fact that his mother died. Number one, she wasn't supposed to be pregnant going, and either she didn't know or too bad, so sad, died in childbirth. But she died in childbirth with nobody knowing who his father is. So this kid is like the ultimate Martian bastard. And he's not supposed to come here because the increased gravity on Earth would be too much strain for him physiologically. There is no way. Remember no, you won't remember. Maybe you saw it. It's a cult film. John Travolta, Boy in a Plastic Bubble.
Boy in the
Yes, I've
Plastic
seen
Bubble.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
That
he
was a
would
made
have
for
to,
TV movie.
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
But in that vein, he would have to live in like an iron lung because otherwise there's no way he could have enough muscle tissue on his heart muscle to be strong enough because of the downward force of the gravity on the planet. And it really, I know it's sci-fi because of the Mars element. I'm not 100% sure if it falls in our bailiwick because the entire story happens on Earth. It's a chick flick. It's a love story.
It's a YA
Right.
melodramatic
It's
romance is
exactly.
what it
Is
is.
this produced by the Lifetime channel?
Exactly.
Is Hugh Grant starring in it?
This is
Or the I Hate Men channel.
well,
like I
but it
like to
has
call
Gary Oldman.
It's got a
as-
great cast.
Yeah.
Gary
Oh, if it's
Oldman's
got
in
Gary
it.
Oldman,
Britt Robertson,
Carla
Asa Butterfield.
Gugino,
Yeah.
and Britt Robertson, who was awesome in Tomorrowland.
Absolutely.
And the first season of Under the Dome. She was great in that.
That's right. I forgot she was in that.
Okay, so
Because she was
that
under
comes
it.
out August 19th.
She was under it.
There was another. Now this one looks
The teaser.
truly sci-fi.
The teaser.
Morgan.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a whole campaign. What is Morgan? And this is a sci-fi.
Morgan
movie.
Freeman?
Right. Exactly.
Women or
My
men
name is
visit
Morgan
die.
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman's God.
Now this
Morgan
movie is
Freeman.
directed by Ridley Scott's son Luke.
Luke
So you
Scott.
know it's going to look good.
Luke, I'm your
And
father.
it's
will
got
look
It's
good.
got a great cast. It stars
You really
Kate
went
Mara, my favorite of the Mara sisters. Who
Those
was
are
also
some nice
she was
sisters.
Invisible Woman, right?
Yeah,
Fantastic
and House
Four.
of Cards.
Yep, House of Cards.
She can
and
stack my
Morgan
cards.
is played by, now I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Anya Taylor-Joy. She was the girl in The Witch.
Anya.
Anya.
I wasn't sure where I
Anya.
recognized
And she
her
was
from.
great in that. And so
Richie knows. He knows her.
We've
personally.
also got Rose Leslie, who I believe was in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
We got Michelle Yeoh from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Love
Right.
Michelle
I
Yeoh.
love her.
Love
Jennifer
Michelle Yeoh.
Jason Lee, and again Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti is just a phenomenal.
He's the
actor.
white Samuel L. Jackson.
He
I
might
think.
That's funny.
Well, you know what? He might be because when he came out on what was that movie? Was on
The first movie I remember seeing him in was in Howard Stern Private Parts.
yeah.
Big
But
Vomit.
no, I'm
Right,
talking
yeah,
about like
yes.
to your point of him being the white Sam Jackson. He came out. It was some movie. I think it might have been Hangover. And he came out. I was like, I didn't even know he was in the fucking movie. Like
He's in
just
almost every
everything.
yeah.
The first
He's
thing I
in
saw him
everything.
in was the movie, and I can't remember the name of it, but
Sideways?
it was he takes a vacation with his wife or fiance down the wine country.
Sideways.
That's Sideways.
Sideways.
With him and
Yeah.
his best friend.
That's
Him and his
love
best
Paul.
friend.
That's a good
there you
movie.
go.
Played
It
with
was-
Thomas
my
Hayden
favorite
Church.
movie.
Right, because he was pretty obnoxious in that
Sandman.
movie too.
My
There you
favorite
go.
movie I've ever seen him in was Shoot 'Em Up, Clive Owen.
I
love
my favorite
him in that
performance
movie.
of his was in American Splendor.
That was
Yes.
a great movie.
That was my
Yes.
favorite
That
Paul
was a
Giamatti performance.
and that was actually
Harvey Peacock.
that was actually comic book related because he
Yes.
was playing a comic book creator.
Oh, okay.
Harvey Peacock.
wasn't that comic American Splendor written or drawn by Crumb?
I think it was. I think
Yeah,
you might
yeah.
be right. Yeah. Okay, so we got one other new trailer, and this is Sing. It's an animated movie
Oh,
that's
I-
coming out at Christmas.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And it's got Matthew McConaughey, Reese Witherspoon, Seth MacFarlane, Scarlett Johansson, John C. Reilly. I don't think Paul Giamatti's in it, but pretty much everybody else.
He's gonna be in there. He's
Yeah,
just
well,
gonna
it's
go
Jeff
in.
Goldblum in it?
No Jeff
No,
Goldblum.
okay.
So no
so-
dinosaurs.
No
And,
dinosaurs.
and
No
no
dinosaurs.
apartment
No
rentals.
aliens.
No apartment
No
rentals.
apartment rentals.
And this is about
no
a
big ass aliens going out the
This is an
monument.
animated-
Brundleflies.
This is an animated movie
Yeah.
about little
A koala bear.
Yes, little
Who
animals.
who owns a theater that is not doing well. He's about to go
Oh,
under.
yeah.
And he's decided that the best way to fill the seats is to have literally a talent contest and offer a $100,000 reward for the best person
kind
singing.
of an animated American Idol.
Yeah, yeah.
A little
As
right
a
there,
pig,
Glee.
The pig comes out singing like Lady Gaga or something.
Oh my
like
God!
that.
Is it- is
The trailer is hysterical, and the best part about it is it's like Zootopia meets. I think on the Facebook page I said The Voice, but you're right. It's more like Facebook or Zootopia meets American Idol or America's Got Talent or something like that. And the funny thing is, it looks like the chief protagonist is a bonobo who is his father is a bunch of gangster bonobos, and you see the opening where he is singing. He's the watch, right? He's the watch guy in a group of people who are they're robbing a bank or something,
Right.
And it is so funny because he's sitting there and he's like, oh man, beautiful voice. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, and then they're running and they're wearing
You're supposed to be the
wearing
watch.
bunny masks, man. You gotta understand.
And
It
that's
was the
voiced by
funniest
Taron
thing.
Egerton
Yeah.
from The Kingsman.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay,
That's-
but yeah, so there's just that if the movie is
Eddie the Eagle.
half that funny, because I know it's gonna be at least 30% singing, And of all the music that we've heard already, it spans 30, 40 years of music. So
All right, cool.
That's always good signs.
but there was rabbits, okay, or hares or whatever, and there's like 3 of them, and she's singing Sir Mix-a-Lot's "Baby's Got Back," and there's a lead singer, and the girls that turn around and they're wiggling. It is hysterical.
It should have been Bunny's Got Back.
Yeah,
But anyway.
Bunny's got
right, exactly.
Okay, we've got a TV movie trailer, which we don't get too many of, and this one actually looks pretty awesome. Do you guys remember the Lifetime movie "Mother, May I Sleep with Danger"?
Oh, that was hysterical.
The original version starred, what's from Beverly Hills 90210? What's her name?
Oh, Tori
Spelling.
yeah,
Thank
Tori
you.
Spelling.
I totally drawing a blank.
Yeah.
Now she's in this,
Yeah, she's
and they're
the
calling
mom.
it a revamp. She
She's
plays the
mom.
mother.
Oh my God! It's
And James Franco is directing this, and he has a small role in it.
During the trailer, didn't I hear like Tommy Wiseau's? It sounded like something from The Room.
No, anyway, what we're
Wait a minute, at the beginning of
No,
the trailer,
no.
I heard something from The Room,
No,
like
you're
an audio
getting-
bite.
like somebody's watching it on the TV in the background.
Yeah, it sounded weird.
yeah,
Yeah,
that could be. But anyway, the plot, which has nothing to do with The Room, is about a young girl who comes out as a lesbian
To her
mother, and the girlfriend that she brings home happens to be a vampire.
Yeah, it was great.
So not only did James Franco change the sex of the,
Vampire.
but they changed it to a lesbian vampire. So it went from a brooding young man who happened to be a killer to a
brooding young woman who happens to be a killer.
lesbian.
A lesbian.
A lesbian
Right,
vampire.
actually, right.
more
The
gay
daughter-
sex here at Comics,
But
Beer, and
it-
Sci-Fi.
But it's so funny that as the mother, Tori Spelling has no clue because she says, I really, and I don't remember the daughter's name. It sure would be nice if I can't wait for her to bring home, you're such a nice friend. Why can't she bring home a nice boyfriend? And we could have this kind of a
It just
thing.
looks
It's
like great,
Mom,
campy fun.
She's been, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
looks
very
like
good.
The Lifetime version of Sharknado, essentially. is what it reminds me of.
So in other
can't
words,
believe that's
another
gonna be on
Lifetime
TV.
movie. Another Lifetime movie that says I hate men. Okay.
Sure, yes, I wouldn't.
So
disagree
wait
with
a
that.
second. So if a misogynist hates women, what do they call a women that hate men? Don't say lesbians. Is it-
Dixogenist? I don't know.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for this.
I was gonna
You
say.
have anything to say there, Mark?
I was gonna say
Looking at boobs.
lesbian.
Mark's looking at boobs again.
Get off the porn,
Those are
dude.
male boobs.
Okay, there was another important TV announcement.
Important.
And that is Westworld, the series.
Oh yeah,
Is coming to HBO. We had heard and we had talked about the fact that it was in production.
Right.
And so there is a release date. I don't have it here, but I know it's this fall, coming out this fall. And there was actually some question as to whether or not the series was actually going to ever see the light of day because they ran into all kinds of production problems.
right. Well, but it's got to be a lot of CGI,
Yeah, I think.
doesn't it?
I think there's going to be a lot of fixing in post, as they say.
Right.
Well, hey.
I mean, and granted, you can wear in a movie like that, and I don't think they did it like that back in 1970, whatever it was. I think it was it 73, Mark?
Yeah.
Westworld? What year did it come out?
I think 73.
Okay. There was, and that was a lot of prosthetic. Well, you're the expert.
Thank you.
So he says.
Yeah, that's
Really?
right.
That's
Chris,
a
he also
stretch.
likes to look at my crotch, so that's no credibility.
He's a crotch expert. I
There
think.
you go. But that movie was a lot of prosthetics, right? There was, the actors had a bunch of shit on, right?
Well,
so
the
these days they don't do that
The
anymore.
promo for the new Westworld is a robot with his eyes open and a fly crawling
Yeah, that was
on
creeping
the
me out just
eyeball.
looking at it.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
Okay, Brad, Preacher. You
Oh my
watched the
God,
pilot,
I love that
correct?
show. I don't know. I'm so glad that we're doing this, so I would know to go watch that show. It was. It's got real good sci-fi. I never watched I never read the book, so this is my first exposure into it. And the opening scene, which I thought was absolutely hysterical, is a guy giving a sermon. Did you see it?
No.
Okay. So he's a guy's giving a
I
sermon.
will watch it
And this is like a foreshadowing.
Just a quick overview.
Right, very
of the
very
show.
fast. Goes in. We see something coming in from space, and the guy gets zapped, and he talks in this vibrating voice, and all of a sudden he explodes, and blood and guts everywhere, and everybody runs out. And this is the foreshadowing. The cross on the top of the church spins upside down. Okay, and then zoom forward, and I can't remember the kid's name, but he's promised his father when he was a kid, and I guess they killed his father because that's how the flashback goes. He promised his father he'd come back and that he would take over the father's church. And it turns out he's a bad boy, and we find out from a cute girl that's really a badass that he used to be a thief, and he used to be a brawler, and he likes to fight.
And so the preacher is played by Howard Stark.
I didn't.
Mark, what's his name? I'm drawing a
Dominic
blank.
Cooper.
Thank you.
There we go. I had no idea what his name was.
Okay, so now this first episode is available to watch online right now.
AMC.com.
There's no new episode this weekend because of the holiday.
Yeah, so you have plenty of time to catch up.
Next weekend will be episode 2.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely check it out. I started watching it. I didn't finish it. It was great from what I saw.
Then I won't ruin it for
Yeah,
you
no
by telling you
spoilers
what
for
happens. Suffice it to say, I watched all the parts, and I watched the movie all the way through. I suffered through the online coupons, the online advertisements, and then I watched a couple of the making of videos. And he's really, I'm kind of impressed with the effort he's making to be a preacher, but he doesn't have really what it takes. He's trying to honor his father, right? He's trying to do what's right. He's trying to go. And
It's like
be the
open
man-
your
the man.
Bibles to 2 Corinthians and get down. Okay.
Well, there is a
Thou
part.
shalt not kill.
Let me tell you the kind of
No,
fuck
because
up he is.
because we're running late. I
Okay.
just want to know, should people watch it?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
I told my brother to watch it. He gives it a thumbs up, and he doesn't like shit.
So this is the 11 approved. Is what you're saying.
11 double thumbs up. My toes are pointing straight too. So.
Okay, great. All right.
And something
Real
else.
quickly, if you guys haven't been watching Game of Thrones this year, or this season,
Yeah.
you got to catch up. You got to watch it because in seasons past, and we talked about this before, they've had maybe 3 or 4 episodes out of the 10 or however many there are that are actually any good.
Yeah.
This season so far, every episode has been great in different ways. So I cannot recommend Game of Thrones more than I have this season.
So
Hodor.
Hodor.
What the hell, man?
Hodor.
So they killed a guy, and now they did that apology video.
It was great.
It was hysterical. They're sitting on a couch covered with money. Did you see the money?
Yes.
That's
And there's
hysterical.
actually now you can go on, I believe it's Pinterest, one of those websites where you can get a Hodor door stopper.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah,
That
I
was-
question. I don't know if I think I'm caught up on the episodes, but that was the last episode, right?
Yes, the Hodor.
Yeah, but he didn't
So-
show him dying though. It just showed them kind of reaching
we can
through the door.
assume that he's dead.
Well, they assumed Jon Snow was dead too.
That's true. That's true.
So I
Is Game of
take
I
Thrones
guess you
on
should have said
Netflix?
spoiler.
Is
No, no HBO
Game of Thrones
shows
is
there.
on Netflix.
Is it? Oh,
on
yeah, it
the
is.
disc,
Right.
but it's not this season, of course.
Right,
You
but
always
that's
have to
streamable.
wait.
They don't. It's not streamable.
Yeah, so if you get HBO Go or HBO Now,
okay.
you can watch
I
it.
see.
So did anybody see the season finale of The Flash?
Yes.
Well, that's actually what I wanted to talk about
Okay.
because all the shows are wrapping up for the season.
Right.
So, Q, real quick,
Okay.
give us your take on the
Spoiler
the
free or
Flash.
spoiler heavy?
No, go ahead and spoil it, even though
Okay.
I haven't seen it yet.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert!
So, quickly.
Man in Iron Mask was revealed.
Who was it?
It is Jay Garrick, the real Jay Garrick, which just so happens to be Barry Allen's father's doppelganger.
In Earth 2, yeah.
In Earth 3. No.
Earth
Earth 3.
3, yeah.
Earth 3.
Motherfucker.
Who actually played Flash in the 1990 series.
Now, if you're following it, Flash's dad got killed the episode before.
Oh,
So
okay.
this really hurt Barry. End of the show, Barry Allen and Iris finally hook up. She's finally ready to be with him.
Oh, really? Huh?
This dumbass goes back in time and saves his mother.
But that's what started the whole problem in the first place.
So
season 3 is basically going to be the Flashpoint.
the Flashpoint Paradox, which will be season 4. I'm probably guess it will be Rebirth.
Interesting.
I've watched that.
Okay.
I've watched that movie in like 3 different incarnations, and it doesn't end well for anybody ever.
No, it does not.
And he can't. Now that he's done it, he can't be the one to undo it.
He has to. First of all, if they
Probably
do it
Wally
right,
West.
yeah.
Right?
But if they do it right, when he comes back, he won't have his powers. So now he's got to recreate the accident to get his powers back. So we'll see how they do it because Zoom played a big part in the comic book. So I don't know how they're gonna do it.
Okay, so Flash season 2, you give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up, 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Way better than Arrow, and that's hurting me. I liked Arrow.
Okay.
I liked Arrow. I thought, to me, this season was saved by what's the guy's name that played in
Cisco.
No,
But-
the villain
Oh,
in Arrow. Do you watch Arrow?
No, I don't watch it.
Have you ever seen
Sorry, CW.
Neil McDonald.
the white hair? He
Yeah,
got the white hair.
Neil, what's his name?
Yeah, he was
Minority
in
Report.
Minority Report. He was in
Star Trek First Contact.
Yeah, he was in
I think Neil McDonough. You had it right.
Neil McDonough.
Yeah. He is just he's a
Yeah, he's a
phenomenal
great
actor.
actor. He's
a
good.
phenomenal
He's good.
actor. And he plays the villain very well.
Now, who does he play?
He plays Damien Dark in Arrow.
Okay.
He was also one of the Captain America's the
Yeah,
team
the-
in World
Yeah,
War
he
II.
was
Fighting Leathernecks or whatever.
I know who you're talking about, but he was the one with the
Howling
beard.
Commandos.
Howling Commandos.
yeah.
But he was the one with
Okay,
the
okay,
mustache.
stay on
and the helmet.
target.
But anyway,
we're running along here.
okay. He played Damien Dark, and to me, he is the reason season 4 was good because of Arrow.
Okay, and what about the other one? The
Legends of Tomorrow
Yes.
was phenomenal. And
Really?
The whole season was great.
Now, see,
You
I
can
haven't watched
tell-
any episodes. I've got them all recorded, all
Okay,
ready
well,
to watch, so it's worth watching.
It's worth watching. They have some episodes where you're just kind of like, okay, that's a filler. That's
Okay,
for the
I
story.
see.
That's for the story. But you could tell when they kind of started running low on money in the budget because, like, in some episodes, this person will be fighting, but they'll have to do something to make Firestorm not fight because they don't have money to support.
They can't bring all the
They
characters
can't bring
in
them
at
all. You
once.
get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's like
So,
that Walking Dead episode when Morgan was training with that guy at his house for the whole episode.
And nobody see him.
Yeah, I think they call them bottle episodes, where what they do
Yeah.
is to bring the budget down. You'll notice each season there's 1 or 2 bottle episodes where
Right.
it's just 1 or 2 characters in
Yep.
one location. It's
And
real
it's
low
very
And a lot of-
informationally driven.
Yes.
Yep, and a
of
lot of
dialogue,
the-
a lot of talking.
A lot of those shows with the bottle episodes, you'll notice, are with the White Canary and Rip Hunter because they are the least expensive because you give her a staff and she can go kick anybody's ass. You get what I'm saying? So, like, they had the one episode where
Adam.
the Atom became,
Dr. Ray Cooper.
he went up and became Giant Man. And he was fighting the robot. But Firestorm was not in the whole episode.
Gotcha.
So, you get what I'm saying? But to me, the season was great. They set up for next season with the Justice Society of America. Our man came down and told him DC is doing great
Are they
with
going to
these TV
have
shows.
like the Spectre and Doctor Fate?
I don't know because they had Our Man in there.
Yeah.
Our Man came down and told him not to get on the ship.
All right, we're running late, so let me ask you about Gotham.
Gotham.
Did you watch the season finale?
Missed the season finale, but I got to record it.
Okay, I did watch it, so now I get to spoil it for you.
You spoiled it for me.
Basically, what happens is they capture Dr. Hugo Strange. He was going to actually blow up Arkham Asylum and ship everybody off to
Indian Hill.
Indian Hill. But what happens is our friend Fish Mooney escapes with all of Strange's creations or creatures, and the bus gets tipped over. Long story short, she leaves, and all of these creatures are unleashed into Gotham. And that leads into, obviously, the next season. It's going to be all about them.
What was with that one character that looked just like a young Bruce Wayne?
I was going to ask you about that, Q. There's a Bruce Wayne look-alike, but he's got long hair and he looks all crazy.
Right.
Is there any correlation in the comic book
I don't know
world?
how they going. You know what? That could be Hush. Could be that comic book story arc. Remember when the guy took over his face, Bruce Wayne's face, and created a whole bunch of muck? But that could be it. I don't know how they're gonna do that.
So there's not really a famous or well-known.
Just that story arc Hush where he took over his face. He looks just like what he did was he killed a whole bunch of people and took pieces of their face and put them on his face to make him look just like Bruce Wayne.
Well, they did.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre style.
They did do a version of that
Gotham
for
Chainsaw Massacre.
Gotham Chainsaw.
Gordon,
Right.
Where they put this helmet on Gordon in the final episode of Gotham, and they took this goon and they transformed him in, and so
and he
his
looked
face
just like
looked-
that.
Right.
Would be like that. So we'll see if
so
that's
maybe
what
it's that
translates
same
to.
technology
Right.
that
Yep.
they used on this guy.
So Hugo Strange is pretty much sort of like the Oscorp or that's basically running all the,
Well, and then
Pretty much.
and then I believe what they're leading up to is Court of the Owls.
That would
Because
be very
in
interesting.
the TV screens, you see him talk. You see Doctor Strange talking to a woman that looks like an owl mask, talking about
that
how
would be interesting.
she's running everything, or her
Right.
group is running everything.
So that would be interesting.
And so, yeah, that was probably the best thing to come out of the new 52. If
Right,
I'm
was
not
Court of the
mistaken.
Owls, yeah.
So that sets up season 3 of Gotham to be pretty awesome.
Pretty real good.
So how you like it, a mule?
pretty good.
Good.
And then we also had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. finale, which we finally saw the Hive destroyed.
Hooray.
And it set up a new character. He was introduced at the end. He was the doctor that was working for Hive. He is now apparently...
The guy from The Mummy.
Yes, exactly. And I think,
Hannah.
yeah, and wasn't he in Two Weddings and a Funeral? Or
The Angry
You
Bull.
talking about
Weddings
the
and a
Mummy?
Funeral?
4 Weddings and a
You
Funeral.
talking about the Mummy himself?
No. He
No,
was
the
the
English-
brother. He was
the English,
Rachel Weisz's brother.
Oh, the guy that was in
relief.
Spartacus.
He's in Spartacus too.
Yeah,
he was in
That guy's the
Spartacus.
comic
Okay.
relief for that movie. Yeah, the British
So
guy.
now they've kind of set him up to be, I think, the big bad guy for the next season of
Oh,
Agents
it's nice
of
he's
S.H.I.E.L.D.
getting work.
Because it looks like
Yeah.
he's unleashed some kind of... The very final scene is him unleashing some kind of...
Which-
it looks like computer...
Virus or something. Well, which is funny because if he would have never been in Spartacus, I would have said, how the fuck is he going to play a bad guy?
But
But
he was good.
it was wonderful in Spartacus.
He played a major prick in that movie.
Yeah, in Spartacus. So if he wouldn't have never been in Spartacus, I wouldn't have never said him as a bad guy.
Actually, it's funny you say that because after seeing him in The Mummy and then seeing him in Spartacus, I'm going, this guy isn't barely believable as a bad guy. And I was like, oh my God, he totally owns that bad guy shit.
Yeah,
He's a great actor.
By the time
Yeah,
by the time
underrated.
you're done watching that whole
Yeah.
series, he's like, oh my God, you want to stick your foot on his neck.
yeah.
Okay, real quick, Bates Motel also ended, and it was incredible. I know you guys don't watch it, but we finally are at full Norman Bates psycho mode.
Oh, jeez.
And so the
shower scene is coming up next
it
season.
should be because
Does that mean they're going to end this?
Is his
series?
mother dead in this series?
spoiler alert, he has killed off Norma. And he never did actually have sex. I always thought for some reason that they had sex with each other, but at least according to this, they never had sex.
I guess
So-
we're just
so
always
no
talking
more-
about sex.
You would think
Yeah.
they would end the
No,
series
all kinds of
like,
incest, you know.
And
when,
all
like,
kinds
say
of
Janet
incest.
Leigh pulls up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's what they're setting up for next season. I think is going to be the Psycho movie adaptation. So it was a great season. Thanks for yawning, Brad, on camera. Appreciate it.
Sorry. Yeah, it's one of those
Okay,
things.
So that's it for the recaps. As more shows end, we will kind of give them their
Spoiler.
due. Okay, but now there are 2 movies that came out this week. 2 big movies, anyway. The first one was Alice Through the Looking Glass.
missed
Did
it?
anyone here see that? Mark, did you check that out?
Unfortunately, yes.
Well, you know, it's funny. I also saw
that
it.
bad?
And the reviews are not good. It's at about a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. Mark, what was your take before I give you my 2 cents?
It just, it just wasn't for me. I just didn't care for it.
Well, I took my 10-year-old daughter, and Alice was a badass in this movie,
Good.
like she was in the first one.
Right.
And so from that perspective, I have to say I love this movie because
Okay.
you don't get a lot of really great female heroes. You get some
Right.
female characters,
But not
but we're
heroes.
talking about heroes. And not only is she a female, but she's a very young female hero. And so for me, and which is what I liked about the first one, was, I think it's a great character for young girls coming up. My daughter loved the first one. She loved this one.
So I thought the Hatter was in this movie.
The Hatter is in this movie, and that's actually the other thing that I really liked about it. This movie is almost a prequel of sorts to the original movie, because in this movie, I won't spoil everything for you.
They do a lot of flashbacks with the Hatter.
But essentially, this is a time travel movie.
Okay. Because
So
I thought Through the Looking Glass happened after Down the Rabbit Hole.
It does.
Okay.
This movie does take place afterwards. Alice returns to Wonderland.
Because I was going to say after,
but it turns into Back to the Future.
right after Johnny Depp's Yorkie debacle in Australia. I thought if this movie bombs, he's really just not going to have a good summer.
Well, it did actually kind of bomb. The movie cost $180 million to make, and I don't even think it made $30 million this weekend.
Well, I better see it tomorrow, or it'll be pulled out of theaters
Now
and printed into discs.
It has done pretty well internationally, so I think total it's made like $100 million. So it's
still
still
hasn't
not
paid for itself.
nearly close to paying for
This
itself.
is a children's movie.
Yes.
It's a children's. It's
It's-
not for adults.
And
so.
it's actually, in my mind, better than the first one. Because to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of the first movie.
Me neither.
Because Wonderland was so bleak and dreary. It was this war-torn version of Wonderland. Whereas now, when Alice goes back, she's seeing Wonderland the way it's really supposed to be.
Oh.
And the Mad Hatter is slowly dying because he's convinced that his family is still alive, but no one else will believe him. So Alice, she returns. She wants to help the Mad Hatter, so she goes back in time to try to find out what has happened. So we see why the Queen of Hearts is so mean and has a big head. And they introduce Sacha Baron Cohen as Time, and he's a great character. He's funny and menacing.
and using a Werner Herzog.
Totally. I was going to ask you
voice.
about that, but he sounds exactly like director Werner Herzog. It is hilarious. So, yeah, I would highly recommend that movie
All right.
for people who are childlike or have children.
Yeah.
Because, the reviews are not good, but I did enjoy it.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. Huzzah.
You can all kiss my
Everybody kiss Q's ass right now. Whip it out, buddy. Let them all see it. Let's start.
Here we go.